I thought I could run from God, from His voice, from His purpose, from the crushing weight of a mission I never wanted. He asked me to go to Nineveh, that great and wicked city, and cry out against it. But I didn't want them saved. I wanted them judged. So I ran. I packed my belongings, kept my head down, and found a ship bound for Tarshish, the opposite direction, the edge of the world as I knew it. The salt spray on my face tasted like defiance, but in the quiet chambers of my heart, I knew it was the bitter taste of fear. Fear that God would be merciful, and that I would be the instrument of a grace I didn't believe my enemies deserved. The storm was not a gradual thing. It was an assault, a sudden, violent rage that tore at the sea. The waves rose like mountains, crashing down upon our vessel with what felt like personal, divine fury. The sailors, seasoned men of the sea, cried out to their own gods, their faces pale with terror. They frantically threw the ship's cargo into the churning water, a desperate sacrifice to lighten the load. And I, Jonah, stood among them, a statue of denial, pretending my conscience wasn't screaming the truth. But it was. The guilt was a storm inside me, louder and more terrifying than the tempest outside. When they cast lots and the lot fell to me, there was no surprise, only a grim finality. I confessed. I told them I was fleeing from the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. Their fear turned to awe, then to a desperate plea. But I knew what had to be done. When they finally lifted me and threw me over the side, into the raging abyss, a strange sense of peace washed over me. The end had come. The sea took me, cold and unforgiving. Darkness enveloped me. The world went silent. Then, from the depths, a shadow emerged, a monstrous form, vast and ancient. The jaws opened, a cavern of living flesh, and as they closed around me, my world, my rebellion, my escape, all of it vanished into absolute blackness. 3 days and 3 nights I spent in the belly of the deep. It was not death, but a living tomb. No light, no sky, no air but the stale, briny breath of the beast. There was only the constant, churning motion of the creature's insides, and the ceaseless echo of my own prideful, foolish thoughts. I was alone with my sin, my bitterness, and the overwhelming presence of the God I had tried to abandon. It was there, in the suffocating darkness, that I finally prayed. It was not a prayer of a righteous man, but the desperate cry of a broken one. I had nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. I acknowledged His power, His holiness, and my own utter helplessness. I remembered His temple, and my soul fainted within me, but I cried out to Him anyway, from the very pit of despair. When I finally saw light again, it was blinding. The creature heaved, and I was vomited out onto the warm sand, gasping, covered in filth, but alive. I lay there on the shore, the sun on my face, and wept, not tears of relief for my own survival, but tears of overwhelming shame and gratitude. He had not abandoned me in the deep. He had preserved me. He still had a purpose for me, despite my rebellion. He still wanted me. And so, with a heart humbled and a will finally surrendered, I rose. The command came a second time. Arrive, go to Nineveh. This time, I did not run. I obeyed. I walked into the heart of that sprawling, godless city and delivered the message He had given me. Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. To my astonishment, they listened. From the king on his throne to the lowliest servant, the people of Nineveh believed. They declared a fast, put on sackcloth, and cried out mightily to God. The king himself rose from his throne, laid aside his robe, and sat in ashes, proclaiming a city-wide repentance. They turned from their evil ways, from the violence in their hands, and God saw their works, that they turned from their evil way. and God relented from the disaster that he had said he would bring upon them. He did not do it. A whole city saved. But I, the prophet who brought the word of salvation, felt no joy. I was angry. I sat outside the city, stewing in my own self-righteousness, complaining to God that he was too gracious, too merciful, too slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. It was there, under the blistering sun, that he taught me my final lesson. He made a plant grow to give me shade, and I was grateful. Then he sent a worm to destroy it, and I lamented its loss with a pathetic self-pity. He looked at my petty anger over a single plant and held it up as a mirror to my own soul. "You pity the plant," he said, "for which you did not labor, nor did you make it grow. And should not I pity Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know their right hand from their left, and also much cattle?" I was silenced, humbled. I had been so concerned with my own sense of justice, my own pride, that I had failed to see the boundless ocean of his compassion. My journey had not been about Nineveh's repentance, but my own. I had been thrown into the sea to drown my pride, swallowed by a monster to confront the darkness in myself, and spat out onto the shore to be reborn. I learned that his mercy is not a treasure to be hoarded for the worthy, but a flood that covers all, even the enemies we despise and the reluctant prophets who try to run away. He still wanted them, and in the end, I learned he still wanted me. If this story stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, so someone else may remember that no one runs too far for grace to find them. Like and subscribe, and walk with me through the stories of others who met mercy face to face.